River Rail is Queensland's biggest infrastructure project, creating 7,700 jobs. This $5.4 billion investment by our government is pumping more than $3 million into the economy every day, creating good jobs, better services to support our great lifestyle. The 10.2-kilometre railway line includes 5.9 kilometres of twin tunnels underground. There are 4 new underground stations, 2 upgraded stations and 6 rebuilt Southside stations. 3 new Gold Coast stations as well, Pimpama, Hope Island and Merrimack. Cross River Rail will completely transform the way Queenslanders and visitors will travel. It will mean a quicker and more convenient commute with the new Albert Street station in the heart of the city, the first new CBD station in more than 100 years. And the new station at the Gabba, which was an critical part of our Olympics bid, securing the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. We are now in the 3rd year of construction and our stations are starting to take shape. There are currently 15 work sites keeping around 2,600 Queenslanders employed. Importantly, I'm advised 328 apprentices and trainees have been registered to date, with over 1.3 million training hours completed, which is great news. This means more local capacity to help deliver our record infrastructure pipeline. The project remains on track to be completed in 2024, ahead of extensive safety testing and commissioning, with services expected to commence in 2025. Mr Speaker, at lunch today I'll be joined.
Deputy Leader of the Opposition, cease his interjections, or otherwise he can ask to leave the chamber. Premier has the call. At
lunch today, Mr Speaker, I'll be joined by the Prime Minister, our Deputy Premier, our Transport Minister, the Federal Infrastructure Minister, at the Wollongabba site to inspect progress, Mr Speaker.
Member for McConnell. Order.
To be the Prime Minister,
Order.
Mr Speaker.
Premier, member for McConnell will cease her interjections. Leader of the Opposition will cease his. This is ministerial statements that I don't believe there's anything provocative being said as I can hear it. Premier has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I'm proud of this project that is completely funded by our government, Mr Speaker, delivering jobs, Mr Speaker, and will be absolutely critical for our Olympic Games. Today we'll be looking at the method of construction never before seen anywhere in the world, a Queensland first. Massive concrete beams are being installed with millimetre accuracy to create the future station's mezzanine level, which is 20 metres below the ground. This is the journey sports fans will make in the future to get to and from the Gabba on game days or to the main stadium for the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. The Minister can go into more detail, but it's the equivalent of a surgeon doing keyhole surgery, but on a much larger scale. Mezzanine beams are also due to start being installed at Boggo Road, Roma Street and Albert Street later this year. Mr Speaker, only Labor governments backed Cross River Rail, which is transforming travel, that will transform travel across South East Queensland. Mr Speaker, we all know that Queensland is the place to be for good jobs, better services and a great lifestyle. And if that includes hosting this year's NRL Grand Final, then I say you beauty. Mr Speaker, it is no secret. Mr Speaker, it is no secret the NRL is considering a new home for this year's Grand Final. Why not Brisbane for the 2nd year in a row? Big events, fill hotels, cafes and restaurants and put a big smile on cabbies' faces. The economic boost from Magic Round, another Queensland innovation, has made it one of the most valuable properties in Australian sport, with benefits that flow throughout the economy. The NRL knows Queensland is a safe pair of hands, and there are no greater fans of rugby league than the current State of Origin champions, Queensland. Andrew Johns was right. We are going to talk about the Origin win for at least the next 12 months. What I remember from that night, apart from the Maroons' courageous win, was the streets and businesses filled with fans and hospitality and other workers earning a living. This has been a Queensland story since COVID, a strong health response that has paved the way for the strongest economic recovery in the nation. Events like Origin, including in Townsville, have all played their part. Mr Speaker, the decision about where this year's grand final should be is for Rugby League to make, and the Rugby League alone. Peter V'landys is a friend to Queensland. He is a fan of Queensland. He is a man of his word. I've always found him very good to deal with, and I know that respect is returned. My government is always open to opportunities that will help us provide those good jobs, better services and great Queensland lifestyle. For now, the scoreboard reads, decision pending. Let's hope the bunker makes the call we are hoping for Queensland, the heartland of rugby league. Mr Speaker, one of the objectives of hosting the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games is to increase participation in sport. Sport is good for our physical and mental health, not to mention vital to developing teamwork, respect and healthy relationships. And it was pleasing to see so many visitors to the government stand at the Ekka trying out for the U for 2032 test, helping us to find the Olympians and Paralympians of the future. This drive to encourage more participation in sport is the reason this year's budget includes our $100 million Go for Gold fund. This money will be spent improving the sporting facilities at schools throughout the state. It will be especially useful in smaller, regional and remote communities where the opportunities to fundraise are limited by smaller populations. Mr Speaker, there is something about Queensland's regions that seems to create more of our most successful athletes. Just look at the recent Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Sarah Cochran from Townsville won silver in weightlifting. Taliqua Clancy from Kingaroy won silver in the beach volleyball. Rockhampton local Ella Connolly came fourth in the 200-metre freestyle. And our medal-winning Hockeyroos and Kookaburras featured athletes from Mackay and Townsville, just to name a few. Overall, Queensland athletes won 87 out of Australia's total of 178 medals. A remarkable 33 of Australia's 67 gold medals were won by Queenslanders. Queenslanders won a total of 87 medals, 33 gold, 29 silver and 25 bronze. They were shared by a total of 128 athletes, from the oldest 63-year-old Cheryl Linfield in lawn bowls to the youngest 17-year-old Flint Southam in swimming. And 55 of our medals were won by women. In fact, if Queensland was a country instead of a state, we would have come third in the medal tally overall. Also, Mr Speaker, our para-athletes finished with 12 gold, 13 silver and 10 bronze, including a new world record in the women's 50-metre freestyle. On behalf of this House, I would like to congratulate everyone who trained for and competed in this year's Commonwealth Games. Stay tuned as we plan a special reception to honour them later this year. And I know that my office is in talks with the Lord Mayor's office to see if we can do something special for them when they all return. Mr Speaker, I encourage every Queenslander to follow their lead and have a go at participating in sport.
I call the Deputy Premier.